Hi, it's been a little while since we've done a manga haul and I bought some manga. Obviously we've got the normal pre-order stuff, but I also bought some special volumes of a certain series and managed to get an absolutely awesome deal on some series that I've wanted to read for a little while. Probably don't need to introduce a manga haul, so let's just get straight into it. And first up, of course, is the pre-orders. Starting off with my absolute favourite series running at the moment, which is Dandadan. We've talked about Dandadan a lot and I actually have a video talking about my first impressions of the series, but this has continuously been the most enjoyable read for me every single time it comes out. It's wacky, action-packed, and it feels like a breath of fresh air amid all the other stuff that I'm reading. Next up, we got the first volume of Chainsaw Man Part 2, Chainsaw Man Volume 12. I'm currently up to date with Chainsaw Man on the Shonen Jump app, so I haven't actually read this version of it, but obviously I needed it to continue the Chainsaw Man collection. There's also a video on that if you want to know my first impressions. Next up, we've got the third light novel in my collection, which is Chainsaw Man Buddy Stories. Most of you will obviously know what a light novel is, but if you don't, it's basically the same as a novel in English. It's a written word book as opposed to a comic book. They're often aimed towards young adults, so it's easy reading, hence the name light novel. And this one itself is 4 short stories that focus on the characters from the manga, and it just gives you a little bit more context into what happens outside of the main chapters. Then, of course, as you all know, one of my favorite series is My Hero Academia. I picked up volumes 34 and 35, neither of which I've read. I've kind of been on a little bit of a manga pause at the moment to read some novels, but these are on the list and should be read in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, Dandadan is my favorite ongoing series. However, my favorite read from recent months has definitely been Homunculus. Once again, I already have a first impressions on this, but if you haven't picked this up already and you like psychological thriller seinen, this is literally one of the best things I have ever read. They're going to be releasing these 2-in-1 omnibus editions. I think there's going to be 5 or 6 of them. They look absolutely fantastic. The presentation on these is awesome, and the story itself is really, really interesting. It's very psychologically based, and it has an element of horror to it as well. Homunculus is definitely heralded at the moment for me for my #1 recommendation for people that haven't already read it. It is good. And that's all the pre-orders. So I recently got back from Japan, and while I was in Japan, I read a little series that you might have heard of called One Piece. I read the first 100 chapters on the Shonen Jump app, just finishing off the first kind of main arc. Since I've given One Piece a read now, and spoilers, I like it, I thought I'd go back and try and pick up the gold foils where I can on the cheap. During this haul, I managed to pick up 3 copies. 2 of them I got from one person, and I paid £5 for both of them, and the other one I got for £2. I was being serious when I said picking up on the cheap. So I got this one for £2, which is volume 17, this one in the 2 for £5, which is volume 5, and then this one, which is the one I'm happiest with, volume 1. I'm going to chuck a picture up on screen of how much this goes for on eBay, but it's probably one of the finer, more expensive things in my collection. Along with the 2 for £5, I also picked up some random volumes that they had that they threw in. I got volume 94, volume 99, and then 3 Japanese volumes. I don't know which ones these are, but I thought they were pretty cool. So yeah, I've basically started collecting the gold foils for One Piece, and I'm going to have a video on One Piece, hopefully in the first part of 2024. Now we got to talk about my favorite part of this haul, which is a small collection of manga that I purchased on Facebook Marketplace. They had an absolutely awesome selection of manga, and I managed to pick up some really cool titles. Now, not all of these are in the best condition. They have been read, they have been used, but I got them for a really good price. I paid £100 total for everything here, and I really want to show you. Starting off, one of the cooler things I got was Vagabond Volume 1 in the single editions. Now this one is super damaged, it has a massive crease down the middle, but I already have the series, so it's not the biggest deal for me, and I thought this was such a cool thing to own. Maybe one day I'll be able to get the full set of single editions. Next up, I picked up Doubt Volume 1 and 2, which is a psychological thriller kind of death game manga along the same lines as Alice in Borderland. You've got a group of people that get thrown into a game and they have to work out what's going on. this is something that I thought was really interesting. Again, psychological thriller style, and it's something I'm going to read very soon. The next one is something that I saw, and I wasn't 100% sure what it was. I had a theory, but I had to look it up, and once I looked it up and confirmed, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely picking that up. This is Super Sentai Himitsu Sentai Gorenga. Basically, this is the original Power Rangers. So if you didn't know, Power Rangers, the massive franchise, was originally based around a manga, and this is exactly what that is. I thought this was such a cool thing to get, and it would look really great in the collection, so of course I grabbed it. Now for the next couple of books, you're going to notice a little bit of a trend. They had quite a lot of Tsutomu Nihei's work, which is a mangaka that I've spoken quite a bit about on the channel, but I don't own any of his manga physically until now. The first one I got was Biomega Volume 1. I know absolutely nothing about this series other than it has Tsutomu Nihei's name on it. It looks like it has similarities to Blam, which is a series that I really enjoy. Yeah. Speaking of which, I finally managed to pick up the big physical versions of Blam. I got Volume 1 and Volume 2, and this is a series that I've always wanted to own physically, but I just can't bring myself to drop the £30 that these physical editions cost. For the deal that I got these for, I'm really happy to finally add them to collection, and it probably just means I need to pick up more volumes in the future. Switching mangakas quickly, because I do want to kind of do this in order of how cool I think these are. I managed to pick up Go Nagai's Devilman. These are kind of omnibus editions. They're classic collections, same as the Power Rangers manga, and this is a classic through and through of manga. It was adapted into a Netflix anime called Devilman Crybaby, which is something that I really loved, and this is just the original story. They come in those big hardcover editions and they're presented very well, and I can't wait to get into them. We've got 2 things left, and the first of which is Planetes Volume 1 and 2. Now this was the series that actually got me onto this deal in the first place, because I've recently finished Vinland Saga, well, got up to date on Vinland Saga. And Planetes is another series by the creator of that, Makoto Yukimura. It's heralded all over the community for being one of the coolest space manga ever released, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. Makoto Yukimura's talent is kind of around his character work, and this seems like a completely different spin on what I've already enjoyed in Vinland Saga. There's only 2 volumes, I've got them both so I can enjoy the whole series, and I'm super happy. And finally, we've got something that might be the most expensive single volume in my whole manga collection. It's another Tsutomu Nihei work, and it's called Bara. Now this is the complete deluxe edition, and I have never seen this before. Looking it up, it's worth around £60 to £100, and this was kind of the thing that drew me into buying this whole bundle. I saw his name, I looked it up, I saw how much it was worth, and I went, hell yeah. This is a classic Tsutomu Nihei work. It's a dystopian horror thriller, and this particular edition comes in a lovely hardback case with full color pages and fold out illustrations. This is an awesome special edition, and I'm really glad I got to add it to my collection. It's something that I don't see a lot of people owning, so it makes me feel good. And that, guys, is the manga haul. I'm not someone who likes to spend absolutely shed loads of money on manga or buy 100 volumes at once, but I think this month I managed to pick up some really cool stuff in ongoing series that I enjoy, collector's pieces like the One Piece gold foils, and just some things that I've never seen before in that manga collection that I purchased. I'm super excited to read some of it, and I'm even more excited to talk about it with you guys. If you feel like picking up some manga for yourself, as always, there are links down in the description. If you purchase stuff through those links, it helps out the channel. I get a little kickback from it, and it costs you no extra than your normal shopping. While you're down there, you can also hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be alerted every single time that I upload. I'm hoping to get back into a little bit more of a schedule of things this year, and I'm looking forward to showing you everything that's happening. And that's probably it for me, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.